the directors who are present here, the Commissioner, Government Secondary Education, and your colleagues, the commissioners present, all the members from Ministry of Education and Sports who are present, the local government officials present, the members of the Board of Trustees, the members of INSTAC and NEC, incoming and outgoing, the head teachers and deputies, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Association of Secondary School Head Teachers of Uganda, I heartily welcome our guest of honor, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, H.E.Y.K.T Kaguta Museveni, to the closing ceremony of this year's annual general meeting hosted by Mid-Western Uganda. In a special way, I welcome the First Lady and the Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, Mama Janet Museveni Kataha. Mama, you are dearly welcome. Your Excellency, I particularly want to thank you and Mama for your acceptance of our invitation. We are indeed honored and thank you for the love you have shown to our association. Your Excellency, allow me also to welcome all the dignitaries formation to this function and thank the ministry officials in a special way for their presence and guidance during this AGM. The Head Teachers Annual General Meeting is an annual event that gathers all the head teachers of both government and private schools with the purpose of equipping them with useful skills and share experiences that help to uphold excellent work ethics in our schools. We have a total membership of over 4,000 head teachers, but the general meeting is normally attended by both head teachers and deputies. In this meeting, Your Excellency, elections were held and incoming chairperson is Brother Augustine Mugabo, the head teacher of St. Henry's College, Kitovu, standing just next to me. I congratulate him. Your Excellency, I am Okiria Martin Obore, the outgoing chairperson and the head teacher of Sorota SS. I have chaired this association ASSHU since 2018. Our association is structured along 13 regions, and I want to request that when I mention your region, you stand up and wave to our guest of honor. We have 13 regions, namely Mbale region. Stand up and wave to our guest of honor. We have Busoga region. Stand up and wave to our guest of honor. We have Central region. Excellency, stand up. Elections were held, and incoming chairperson is Brother Augustine Mugabo, the head teacher of St. Henry's College. Region. We have West Nile region. We have Acholi region. We have Lango region. We have Teso region. And lastly, we have Karamoja region. Your Excellency, the day-to-day activities of the association are run by the National Standing Committee in STAC. And here I have both the outgoing and incoming members. I want to request them to move forward quickly. Below the INSTAC, we have the National Executive Committee. This one's comprised of regions, and each region has a council. And below the region, we have the district committees. The outgoing this side, and if you are outgoing both, you first come this side and also move the other side. So, Your Excellency, on my left is the outgoing executive members. And on my right, Your Excellency, is the incoming, you go back this way. These are the incoming members of INSTAC, led by Brother Augustine Mugambo. Thank you so much. May I also quickly request the regional chairpersons to stand up as my colleagues go back. And wave to His Excellency, please, regional chairpersons. In addition, Your Excellency, we have a board of trustees whose role is to associations property and give guidance. Here present, I have Mrs. Rose Sisinga, the chairperson board of trustees. And I know you know that she's also a member, Education Service Commission. The other that I'm introducing is a member, Mrs. Regina Laboke. Very polished and has helped us, especially in training of the deputies with the workshops. The third member is Dr. Nsubuga Yusuf, who was with us on the first day, but had to leave for other duties. Your Excellency, the activities of our association include, but not limited to the following. 1, running sports through Uganda Secondary School Sports Association. That I know has interacted with you because they have brought a lot of trophies. The second one is managing debates and MDD through regions and districts. The third is training and capacity building of school leaders done at regional and district level through workshops. The other is the channel, ASSHU, our association. It's a channel of communication of the Ministry of Education today. And Your Excellency, I want to assure you that whenever the First Lady and Honorable Minister gives instruction, the whole country gets it now in 5 minutes through our association platforms. The other activity that we are carrying out is the training of teachers in partnership with the Star Education. This one is done mainly on leadership, mindset change, growth mind, and intrinsic motivation. The other activity that we do is promotion of government policies and programs, because this is in our objectives. We also help in the running of exams. Last but not least, ASSHU is represented at NCDC, National Curriculum Development Center, UNEB, thus giving us opportunity to express the head teachers' views. ASSHU, our association, is also represented in the various committees in the Ministry of Education and Sports. And we want to thank Mama for including us in those committees. Achievements and future plans. Your Excellency, our achievements include: 1, the contribution of 23 million in response to your call to support the fight against COVID-19. And this was handed to the office of the Prime Minister. I thank my colleagues for that contribution. 2 is the formation of Retired Head Teachers Association, which is used to mentor and guide young school leaders. The other is affiliation. We are affiliated to International Confederation of Principals, ICP, and African Confederation of Principals, ACP, therefore giving our association an international look. We also have a close working relationship with our colleagues in Kenya and Tanzania, and sometimes we have exchange visits for purposes of sharing experiences. I am happy, Your Excellency, to announce that Uganda was selected to host the biannual conference of African Confederation of Principals in the year coming 2025. The incoming executive, led by Brother Augustine Mugabo, I am sure, will soon be conducting our mother ministry to kickstart the preparations. Your Excellency, ASSHU has nursed a long-term dream to establish a leadership center which will be used for training and building capacity of school leaders and teachers. Its many benefits will include: 1, being a center for continuous professional development of school leaders; 2, a resource center for research, library, and experimentation; 3, a place for induction of new head teachers on school management and leadership; 3, it will house the association secretariat; and lastly, the center will also be used for income generation for sustainability purposes. Your Excellency, to actualize this dream, ASSHU has acquired a 3.5-acre piece of land on Bombo Road at Kiterede, on which we plan to construct the Leadership Center. This center will house the following: a conference hall with a capacity of 2,000 people, a main stage with changing rooms, storage areas beneath the auditorium, the general reception and offices, boardrooms and resource center, first aid room, the security control areas, the media room, the power control area, a vast parking yard. So far, we have done the following: topographical survey has been done, architectural plans are in place, the bill of quantities have been worked out and total to 5.6 billion. The plans are in place to have the head teachers contribute shillings 100,000 per school. Your Excellency, in addition to all good things the government has done for education sector, we are yet begging for more. Our earnest prayer is for your kind assistance in the accomplishment of this project of the Leadership Center. On behalf of our association, I'd like to appreciate you, Your Excellency, and Mama Janet for the successes registered by Ministry of Education and Sports. These achievements, we believe, are a pathway to turning Uganda into a middle income status. Your Excellency, a special mention must be made of the First Lady and Honorable Minister of Education, Mama, for her sheer emphasis, rigor, professionalism, and a bountiful store of insights in commanding and influencing the events in the sector. We are equally indebted to the Permanent Secretary and staff at Ministry of Education who have used massive wit and talent to shape the education sector. We appreciate government for the introduction of a competence-based curriculum, which is causing huge revolution in the sector by emphasizing generic skills to learners. Your Excellency, we are also grateful to the Ministry of Rumama for ensuring that the following support is provided. 1, good working relationship between Ministry of Education and Sports, between Ministry of Education and Sports and our association. Particularly, Mama, I want to thank you for our Permanent Secretary, who is our second Mama. very accessible, very approachable, and she answers all our questions. We also thank all our directors and commissioners. The other we thank the government for is the retooling of teachers to completely handle the new curriculum. However, more training is still needed. Recruitment of teachers and non-teaching staff for schools has been done. The promotion of assistant education officers to education officers. This is causing motivation. The promotion and appointment of new deputy head teachers and teachers over a long time. We are grateful. The opening up of scheme of service to promote teachers to positions of senior education officers. However, Your Excellency, there's a problem here. The local governments tell us that this position does not exist in the pay structure. So the promoted officers have not received a salary for that post since they were appointed. We also thank the ministry and government for the provision of textbooks, especially for the lower secondary curriculum. Your Excellency, even yesterday, we are getting more books, particularly we are told from you. The salary enhancement for both teachers and head teachers for over a long time, and of recent, the salary enhancement for science teachers. Your Excellency, the ITESO say, when you see of our dream, the ASSHU Leadership Center.
Your Excellency and Mama First Lady, we shall not get tired thanking you for coming here. We don't take it for granted. Thank you so much for coming here. We are now going to invite the Permanent Secretary to address, but before we do that, I'll request the Chairperson of the Board of Trustees to step forward and make a statement to His Excellency and Mama.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, and Mama, First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, please allow me to borrow the protocol that has already been expressed. We cannot express how joyful we are that you are here. Please, head teachers, express your joy. Everybody has been eagerly waiting for this day. I want to thank you, Your Excellency, for giving us Mama as the Minister of Education and Sports. A God-fearing, God-loving woman. We all know that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And if we are talking education, we are thinking about wisdom. We are very grateful for your leadership. Standing here before you, I am Rose Izizinga. And beside me is Regina Laboke. Education is in our blood. It is in our blood. It is in our DNA. That is why we are here. And together with Dr. Yusuf Nsubuga, we are trustees for the Association of Secondary School Head Teachers of Uganda. Our role is to mentor them, to guide them, to be a critical friend to the leadership, and in us is vested all things movable and immovable belonging to the Association of Secondary School Head Teachers of Uganda. Why the three of us? We want to give you just a very brief history of this august body, Your Excellency and Mama, that is before you. Once upon a time, Regina and I, and Hajat Aisha Lubega, now Vice Chairperson, Electoral Commission, were head teachers. I was at Makerere College School, Aisha at Nabisunsa Girls, and Regina at Our Lady of Good Counsel. And we were blessed to get training in transformational leadership, which we used in our schools. And we realized that changing a school, changing a community did not need money. It needed three things, which things are vested in transformational leadership. Individualized consideration, that is putting people at the center. The child at the center, the teacher at the center, any kind of staff at the center, the parents or the stakeholders at the center, and thinking about them, seeing things through their eyes. It needed us to practice intellectual stimulation, bashing ideas against each other's heads, questioning why things were the way they are, and could they not be different? In other words, practicing critical thinking, being able to look for solutions to problems, and using creativity with whatever resources one may have. And thirdly, it needed inspirational motivation. to be able to inspire others, to walk the talk, to always be able to see the glass half full and not half empty. The view you have of the world dictates what you do. We had a head teachers association which had an executive of 5 people. And the way we used to transact business in those days, Mama, was to wait for selection. Then the executive would sit up front and we would pick up all the things that the Ministry of Education and Sports had not done right. And we would have a pity party and we would lament about them. And we would go away and wait for the next selection. So the 3 of us said, really, can we not have a different thing? We had a dream of transformational schools, a dream whereby instead of lamenting, every single one of us tried to do the best that they could to transform the society that they are responsible for. And by the grace of God, in 2006, there was an election. We ensured that the association has an election. And at that election, we were voted into power. And we were known as the girls. But I want to inform this august body that there were also boys there. The team consisted of David Mulongo, then head teacher of Butiki as first vice chairperson, Jag Owor Bukedea SS, second vice chairperson, Aisha Lubega as secretary, and Regina Laboke as publicity secretary, Ida Tarinyeba as treasurer, and the late Humphrey Ahimbisibwe as treasurer, and yours truly as the chairperson of that team. We caused a constitutional review. And we decided that it is important that every single person takes part in being a leader. This is why we have a dream, Your Excellency, of a leadership center. Everybody being in the lead. So the constitutional review, we benchmarked with Kenya, we benchmarked with Tanzania, we benchmarked with Ghana, different African considerations, associations, and Nigeria as well. And Regina Laboke here led the constitutional review. Hence, Your Excellency and Mama, you saw regional chairs. Behind the regional chairs, there are district chairpersons, and then you have the national body. It makes us so glad to see that our dream is still alive. We praise the Lord for that. I want to thank ASSHU Executive. Thank you very much for standing united in school, professional and quality school leadership. Thank you, the team that has been spearheading things so far, led by Martin Obore. We thank you for your work. And we welcome Brother Augustine Mugabo and your team. You should have seen the elections, Mama. We did not leave this site. I think the elections, we had our results out by, was it coming to 10 o'clock? Coming to 10 o'clock. And everybody was seated here waiting to see who is who. We thank the Lord for that. Midwestern, a big round of applause for you. Every region will get an opportunity to showcase what they have. And this is what Midwestern has done. It has been beautifully organized. Ntare School, your bigness of heart. Because organizing something, you always put something in. We thank you for that. We're asking the head teachers, Your Excellency, to continue on the bedrock of transformational leadership. You don't need money to cause change. To transform the society, transform your thinking, transform your teaching, transform your teachers. Let your teachers and your learners transform their societies. And that is what Madam Grace Baguma and her team are advocating for in the lower secondary curriculum. It is a dream we had many, many years ago, Your Excellency, and Mama, thank you for turning it into a reality. Your Excellency, before you is a team. I want to thank you most graciously, and start by thanking Mama for having identified me as a member of the Education Service Commission, where I am serving, and I still enjoy serving. And I thank you, Your Excellency. Yes, I do. I do. And I thank you, Your Excellency, for appointing me. And I still enjoy the work that I am doing there. I am a teacher by blood, not just a new teacher. I would like to thank you all for listening to me, Your Excellency, and again, once more, add my voice to the head teachers of our dream of the Leadership Center, the house of transformational leadership for the head teachers of Uganda, the teachers and the children of Uganda, for God and my country.
Thank you so much, trustees of ASSHU. Your Excellency and First Lady, Minister of Education, Mama, allow me to, in a special way, Mama, allow me to thank you on behalf of these teachers for these lower secondary school textbooks that they have received. Mama, I know what we have gone through. You chair meetings. We look for resources to get these books. We want to thank you, and the teachers have thanked you. On that note, therefore, we shall request you, when you finish your speech, you launch those curriculum books which are with you there, Mama. Let me now take this honor to invite the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education and Sports, whom I will request to make a few remarks, and then invite Mama, Minister of Education and Sports, to make her remarks, and also request you to request her to invite our chief guest. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Mama, the First Lady, and Minister for Education and Sports, I want to thank you most sincerely for sparing your valuable time to come and meet with your head teachers. By yesterday afternoon, there was no clear confirmation or sign of your coming today, and our teachers were very, very anxious, Your Excellency. I'm sure your presence here today will leave members here very happy and fulfilled. We as a ministry are also here on invitation by ASSHU. For the entire week, members of the senior management team of the Ministry of Education and Sports were here to make different presentations on topics selected by the head teachers. I would like to request the members of the senior management team of the Ministry of Education to stand up for recognition. Your Excellency and Mama, that's the senior management team of the Ministry of Education. And yesterday we were allocated the entire day to discuss with our head teachers, and I must say that we have also learned a lot in trying to explain government policy and education sector policy and interventions. Your Excellency, you have severally said that our minister has brought change to the ministry because of her style of leadership. A leadership that is engaging, consultative, and that she's always conducting meetings, and that it has worked to change things for the better. Indeed, we have learnt a lot from our minister, that engagement works, and I can confirm that we, together with ASSHU, have benefited from this meeting. We therefore thank you, Mama, for your transformative leadership. There are various issues arising from this week's meeting that will call for further discussion and meetings at the ministry, and we'll bring these issues for your attention when we get back, Honorable Minister. Your Excellency and Mama, I want to thank ASSHU for our good working relationship. We engage regularly with ASSHU on many issues of the sector, and most especially during the reopening. When we were planning for reopening and throughout COVID, we worked very, very closely with ASSHU, and I want to thank them so much for their technical support during that period. I would like to thank the outgoing executive team led by Martin Okiria. And in the same breath, I would like to congratulate the incoming team led by Brother Augustine Mugabo. I'm very certain that our already strong working relationship will even be further strengthened. Your Excellency, I will not say much because my duty was really to invite my minister to address this function. And without further ado, I would like to request Mama. I wait. I've been requested to invite the head teacher to make some announcements.
Thank you so much, my permanent secretary. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an announcement. We have already talked. I'm glad to inform you that we requested our president to give some support of an extra day, and I'm glad to announce that this has been done. This has been done, and it will be some transport topover, and then of course the extra day for the food. But what we shall request for is that the chairman, the two chairpersons, and of course we have the guidance of the trustees. We shall request that the regions come out with the members that have attended for accountability purposes, transparency. Then we get this, and it becomes quite an easy exercise. But can we once again clap for this? Thank you so much.
That clapping for His Excellency is not enough. You stand up. Stand up, stand up. Let us go 5 factorial. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. That is appreciation to you, Your Excellency, and Mama.
Thank you very much. Mama, I would like to re-emphasize a statement that I made while you were walking away, that His Excellency the President has severally said that you, as our minister, has brought change to the ministry because of your style of leadership that is engaging, that is consultative, and that you're always conducting meetings, and that it has worked to change things in the ministry. We have learned a lot indeed, Mama, from your leadership that engages, and we want to thank you for your transformative leadership. Mama, without further ado, but before that, I would like to announce and to thank His Excellency the President and yourself for the very, very generous contribution of 200 million shillings to the ASSHU meeting. Thank you very much. I would also like to thank our host, the head teacher of Ontare School, for hosting a very big gathering of close to 4,000 head teachers. This is not an easy task. Thank you very much, head teacher of Ontare. Father, Mom, I would like to take this opportunity, very privileged opportunity, to welcome you, to invite, to address this great association of secondary school head teachers. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Katie. PS. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, the Chairperson, Education Service Commission, the PS, Ministry of Education and Sports, and your team present here today, the Chairperson and leaders of the Head Teachers Association, all the teachers present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. And let me start by thanking God, who has made it possible for all of us to gather here today. On behalf of the Ministry of Education and Sports and on my own behalf, I thank the Association of Head Teachers of Secondary Schools in Uganda, ASSHU, for organizing this annual general meeting. Thank you for inviting us to be part of your agenda. Mr. President, thank you for always finding the time in your busy schedule to join us every time we call on you. I thank you for always finding that time to listen to the teachers and for addressing their concerns as much as is humanly possible. Today, the head teachers are gathered here in fulfillment of the association's mission, which is to provide a forum for sharing good practices for promotion of quality education. Together, they are pursuing a vision of a united team for professional and quality leadership, school leadership. I thank the head teachers again for maintaining this unifying forum, and it is my hope that it is yielding the objectives for which it was established. Your Excellency, professional and quality school leadership is a very important and critical success factor in our quest for quality education. If only all the head teachers here pursued professional and quality leadership, we would significantly reduce or even eradicate issues of absenteeism in schools and many of other vices that have eroded our education system. The presence of an effective and efficient head teacher in a school has a big impact on the efficient functioning of any school system. I sincerely appreciate the vision of the association, therefore, and it is my prayer that this annual general meeting has awakened and reminded these head teachers of this important professional call. I must commend some of the head teachers here who have done exceptionally well, and I want to let you head teachers know that your commitment and devotion to duty has not gone unnoticed, and we sincerely thank you. And we're planning to develop the way we appreciate you so that it will really motivate the association, hopefully, and also improve on our schools. We are all aware that arising from the ruins of COVID-19, we are going through one of the most challenging times in the management of our schools. I sincerely commend the head teachers who have managed to creatively navigate these challenging times with hope and determination to sustain the school calendar. And I urge all of us to cultivate the spirit and know that leadership is from God, and leadership is not just an end in itself, it is a means to an end. That end is to serve, and it comes with an awesome responsibility. It comes with sacrifice and challenges, but no amount of challenge is impossible for God to solve. If we are willing, where there is a will, there is a way. I want to again congratulate the team of head teachers that went through the patriotism training at Chankwanzi last week. And I believe that training is necessary for all the head teachers to enable all of us understand our country, love it, and do exactly what God has assigned each one of us to do with love and passion. It is my prayer that all the head teachers will get the opportunity to undergo that life-changing experience. And when we met them at Kololo last week, I remember telling those head teachers that teachers, and of course head teachers, have the responsibility not just to teach the pupils in the classroom, but even the communities, to disciple the communities. That's the work of teachers, to disciple nations. Where you can do this, problems like the school lunch in the rural schools, rural day schools, it would not be a problem. If the head teachers and teachers were meeting parents and educating them and mobilizing them to make sure that they have food at home and that the children do not go to school without a lunch, that problem would be solved and the teachers can do it. Where they can do that, problems like absenteeism in schools would be the history of our education institutions. Teachers cannot just be responsible for being in the classroom alone. They must disciple the community around them, those families that bring up those children that you teach in school. If you are doing that, problems like teenage pregnancy in school would not happen. I do not know what has happened to the teachers because the teachers were supposed to be responsible leaders in communities. And today, we know that some head teachers are responsible for making their learners pregnant in school. And those are issues we must discuss honestly and transparently, and know that it is our duty together to ensure that those problems are out of our schools. If you are doing what I'm saying, problems like alcoholism and smoking, drugs in schools would be a thing of the past. Of the past, it wasn't there. It is today. When you, responsible men and women, heads of schools of this land, you have these problems in schools. And it's amazing to hear that sometimes those drugs are put in biscuits, they are put in food that parents pack for their children from home, those who come to boarding schools. How can we allow that to continue to happen when responsible men and women are there heading these schools? We cannot just strive to change the infrastructure of schools alone. We need to change the ways we teach in schools and change the way our communities are behaving, and we can do it. And I wanted to also say that there is supposed to be a teacher's circle. You have heard about that, I'm sure. The teacher's circle, which is not helpful. I don't know what happened to the teacher's circle. UPDF has a circle that now has billions of shillings. If teachers were a serious group, your circle would be having billions today, just like the UPDF circle. We would even open our own bank for teachers, because the volume of the numbers of teachers across the country are enough to make a bank. But you see, you are probably not united, you are not properly organized, and there is something about the spirit that is not helpful to the teachers as a professional group. So today, I thought I would use my opportunity being here to say something about all this. And I want to appeal to you as head teachers to look into all these things I have talked about, I have narrated here, so that next year we meet on your day, we see a difference. And we're going to find a way to monitor schools, and the schools that are doing better, the schools that are improving, will be empowered in a special way. I will not say how, which way it will be, but we will empower the head teachers who are changing and transforming schools in a way that will truly be motivating. But we will start by inspecting schools to see the difference across the country. So, as we get back to our schools to start the new term ahead of us, I urge you to please remember that you have the responsibility to ensure that every child enrolled in your school is part of a future of this country. And as a leader, you must please endeavor to provide an environment for those children to successfully complete the year and transition to the next class. Be their teacher, but also be their parent and their role model in school. It is critical at this time to have schools led by purposeful leaders and teachers who are competent and self-driven. As Mrs. Izinga said, right there in front of you. As leaders, I urge you to remember that you are teachers and your own wings of success, you are own wings of success and motivate. You must teach the children and motivate them to be part of your success agenda. An inspiring leader will naturally inspire his or her followers. Always remember that leadership is a relationship. It is a relationship between those who aspire to lead and those who choose to follow. Strive within the resources available to give your staff and learners the motivation and the right environment to operate. Now that's between the head teachers and the teachers they work with. Let me also use this opportunity to urge you to be responsible pedagogical leaders. The ultimate purpose at all our work is to ensure that our children learn. You already know that a curriculum is meant to enable learners acquire competencies through the school system. Monitor and supervise curriculum implementation through what the teachers do, to ensure that teaching is going on as planned and that students are learning and acquiring the expected competencies. The new lower secondary curriculum gives us now the opportunity to equip our learners with the 21st century skills. At the core of our approach of delivering education should be emphasis on values and character. Today, our society has been invaded by lots of unacceptable immoral behavior, and we must find ways of protecting our learners and keeping them on the right track through modeling acceptable behavior as head teachers and teachers in these schools. The practice of entertaining activities in schools. Entertaining, you have seen what is happening in these entertaining activities that you bring to schools that erode the moral character of our learners, which must not be tolerated. As leaders, please choose to provide only that which is appropriate to our children. And look at them as children, as your very own children. If they were your own, would you allow those entertaining groups to really stand in front of those children and do what they do? Recently, we saw some of them naked in a school. And you wonder why such groups should be brought into schools. Why? Finally, it is my prayer, and I call upon all of you to join me in this prayer, that we all agree to put our learners above all our interests and address the crisis of lost learning by preventing any further disruptions to school time due to service delivery, protests, and listen to our professional code. Let us all remember that teaching is a noble profession, and it is a special assignment by God to nurture a generation. Let us take our challenges to Him in prayer. Let us together pray for the transformation of our education sector and commit it to God. Please be assured that there are many people holding hands with us in this battle. Some of you probably know that there is an ongoing 50 days of prayer and fasting led by the Uganda Jubilee Network, an interdenominational body. And the focus of this year is the education sphere with a theme, in quotes, laying new foundations for the education sphere and the next generation. Based on Isaiah 58, verse 12, which says, in quotes, those from among you shall rebuild the ancient ruins and will raise up the age-old foundations. You shall be called repairers of the broken walls, restorer of the streets with dwellings, unquote. My prayer now is that we will heed this clarion call to arise and rebuild the education sphere. It is not a coincidence that in this season, the oldest university in the region, Makerere University, is making its 100 years anniversary, a double jubilee. It's a great opportunity to lay the new foundations and start all over again in this country. More to that, an Education Policy Review Commission was instituted in May 2021, and it's working on charting the direction the education sector will take for the coming decades. The last time this happened was 30 years ago. This is a great opportunity for us all, and for you as our foot soldiers who play a critical role in the education of our children to actively participate in shaping the future of education in our country by laying new foundations, so to speak. I must thank you now once again for coming together to share good practices, and I wish you a peaceful and successful final term of the academic year 2022. Your Excellency, it is now my singular honor and pleasure to invite you to address this great gathering. But before I do that, I was supposed to launch these books. And I can only just hold them here. So, NCDC books. The Agriculture Textbook, Senior 1, ya Kiswahili, lugha ya Kiswahili, kitabu cha mwanafunzi. And the Physics textbooks, Senior 1, and the Art and Design syllabus, secondary curriculum. Thank you, NCDC, for this work done, and I congratulate you also. Thank you, and God bless you. Please, Your Excellency, it is your time to address this gathering. Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Education, the Permanent Secretary, other leaders in the ministry, the members of the Educational Service Commission, and all the head teachers. I congratulate you on your annual general meeting. I think this is a good forum. Between 1959 in 1966, I was in this town here, going through the institutions which were here. And I remember, especially when initially I was in Mbara High School, what they were calling junior secondary. Then in 61 I came here to Ntare, and I was here for 6 years. And I used to see our headmaster, Mr. Crichton, going away to attend, I think, something like this in Kampala. And he would come back and tell us that they had their organization. It was led by, those teachers were mainly white that time. Here we had about 40 teachers, and only 2 of them were blacks here that time. But Mr. Crichton would tell us that there was somebody called John Kisaka. John Kisaka was their chairperson of that group. What was it? Because I had Zinga saying something. So, Zinga, come and tell me what group was that? The one led by John Kisaka. This is the one you overthrew, or what?
Your Excellency, that one was called Uganda Teachers Association. That was way long before the one that I was talking about.
Yes, that's what it was. So what was it doing?
It was mainly talking about welfare of teachers and, I don't know, voicing their needs. And I think it seems to be the mother of unionism also in education.
The what?
Unionism.
Ah.
Yes, Your Excellency.
So the one you overthrew was what?
It was the one we took over from was Uganda Head Teachers Association. It was an association for secondary school head teachers, which had an executive of just 5 people.
Oh, the other one was for all the teachers?
For all teachers and...
okay,
yes,
the one
yes.
of Kisaka.
Yes, Your Excellency.
Is this here alive?
I don't think so, Your Excellency.
Okay. So thank you so much. I want to thank the head teacher of Ntare to the agenda. Although I was inside there, I was hearing what he was saying. And the magazine of 90s, you give me a copy, I go with it. Do you have that one here? To the agenda. You have given them? Okay. I will look at those articles of 1966. Now, I'm very happy. By coincidence, your spokesperson, Madam Zinga, happened to talk about transformative leadership. That's exactly what I was going to talk about. So you can talk of telepathy. Telepathy, when two people think the same. So it seems there is some telepathy between me and Zinga. Really the issues in Africa are not money. Because me who is standing here, I started a force together with our colleagues without money to fight Idi Amin much more difficult job than anything else. We started with nothing, absolutely, but a vision. And we were, between 1971 and 1986, those 16 years, we were able to build a force that that was a big success, which now is what you call not only the UPDF, but even the NRM, the political side. We did this without money. Yes, money is necessary, but the bigger part is vision. Therefore, when they told me that I was coming to address the head teachers of the whole of secondary schools of the whole of Uganda, I had Amadou. Amadou is, I don't know how they call it in Luo, when you feel you are eager to eat something, to eat it like meat. Loka, how do we loka in Luo? What we call, these Bantu speakers would know what Amadou is. Amadou is when you have got some craving, a craving for something. But let's get assistance in Luo. Loka, how do we loka that one? Lower speakers can. Introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. I'm a Pew Grace head teacher Luala Girls in Kalaki. What you are referring to is called KEO. KEO.
KEO.
KEO. KEO.
KEO. Mot. The Kumam don't speak proper Luo.
That is Lango. I'm working in Uganda. Thank you.
Yeah. So
it is KEYO. KEO.
KEO. Those who know Luo, that's correct, because I'm very suspicious of the Kumam. You know the Kumam are between the Luo and the ASSHU. So sometimes they distort things. But you all agree, Luo speaker, that it is KEO. Ada, Apoyo Nyara for helping me. Your name is what? Come and tell me. Bino Khan.
Pew Grace, head teacher Luala Girls, SS.
Luala. Those children came back, all of them? The ones who were kidnapped?
Some of them,
Oh.
Your Excellency.
Others were not traced.
Others were not traced yet. They are still in captivity.
Oh. How many?
About 30 have not been recovered.
Oh, okay. So, when I heard I was coming here to talk to the head teachers, I felt a big KO, a big Madu, that instead of just talking about administrative issues and welfare issues, I should really talk to you about the whole vision of education. Even yesterday we were with Mama here, the other day we were having the educational something commission, Education Policy Review Commission, the one of Amanya Mshega, and again my mind was provoked to answer the question, what is the purpose of education in Africa today? and what should it contain, what should it target. Now, I have written quite a number of books about this, but within the confines of the NRM, we are always producing documents. But when I was coming here, I remembered one speech I gave in January 2020 at Nambore to the NRM National Conference. And I entitled that speech, How Africa Missed the Bus of History. The bus of history was moving and Africa missed it. And other continents entered the bus and they moved ahead and we remained on the stage, Africa. Because you must explain why Africa is backward and other continents moved forward, starting with Europe, Japan, and now some of the other places have also come up, like China and so on. So therefore, in this education, if it is to be of any value, it must answer that question. And therefore, everybody in the educational sector should have a telescopic view of human history. The human beings have been here for the last 4.5 million years. They evolved from lower primates about 4.5 million years ago into what was called Homo sapiens sapiens. Homo sapiens sapiens means the wise man, the man who had wisdom. Unlike the other creatures which don't reason, they work by instinct. Now this Homo sapiens sapiens had 3 characteristics which other creatures did not have and do not have. First of all, he was standing on 2 legs, bipedal. All the other creatures are either quadrupedal, they walk on 4 legs, or they are reptiles crawling on the ground, and so on. This standing on 2 legs enables man to see better, especially in the grasslands here, because you must have heard that the first human being evolved here in East Africa, in the grasslands, because there you had the opportunity to stand and see far. So that quality of bipedalism is unique to man and was one of the factors that made him special. The second characteristic was the man having a brain which had more cortex convolutions, because the brain has got some different parts. There is the inside part of the brain and the outer, the cortex, which has got, the human brain has got more convolutions, more coils, and therefore it can reason better, not just act by instinct. So you can call it a superior brain in a way. But superior doesn't mean that it is bigger, because you may find that the elephant has got a bigger bigger brain, but the way it is organized is not efficient to think like the human beings do. So that's the second characteristic of man, a superior brain. Now, thirdly, this Homo sapiens sapien had a hand which could grasp, could hold and do things, could make tools and use them to solve problems. So because on account of these three characteristics, man in the last 4.5 million years has been able to try and adapt nature, adapt the laws of nature for his use. Ability to adapt nature is very crucial for societal development. If you don't have water here, the animals will have to walk and drink the water there at the well and come back. But man, because of those characteristics, he has got capacity to bring water from where it is and bring it where it is not. Initially, he was using the water pot and so on, but now man has been able to get technology to pump water from where it is to where it is not and where he wants it. This is the difference between man and all other creatures. Now, because of that, in the last 4.5 million years, man has been able to make a lot of changes. There were initial changes, stone tools and so on. You teach them history, you are the teachers there. But one of the biggest achievements was 1.5 million years ago when man invented fire. You can imagine man was here for 4.5 million years ago, but for almost 3 million years, he did not have fire. Fire, you can check all this on the internet, because you use the internet. Fire was invented about 4.5 million years ago. Now, the invention of fire made very big changes. First of all, man could cook food instead of eating it raw. He could roast. Secondly, he was able to go into the caves, light them and warm them and live in caves instead of living in the trees. Because for the invention of fire, it seems man was a tree dweller, living in the trees. But the trees were very uncomfortable. All the rain would find him there. All the mosquitoes. Now the caves were better than the trees because they were more sheltered. Then about this essay which I wrote for the conference on page 11, that 12,000 years ago, man was able to invent the science of agriculture. This was a big change. Instead of looking for the food in the wilderness, hunting and gathering, he was now able to get seeds and come and plant them. Agriculture was a very big revolution. 15,000 years ago, we had started domesticating animals. Instead of only hunting the animals in the bush, you could bring them home. You could bring the cows, the goats, and you control them at home. Then, about 1,200 BC, man was able to invent iron. Iron tools were more efficient than all the other tools. So Africa was moving well in all these inventions. Africa was part of them. We invented fire, participated in the domestication of animals, participated in the mastering of agriculture, discovery of the iron. But the problem came in 1440 AD. I'm moving very fast because it's a long story, but if you read these books, you will see it. Because remember, those of you, I'm glad I saw the Reverend here who prayed for us, and the Sheikh, he was here, and Mama is very, very, very active in the religion. In 1966, when you read that magazine of Untare, I was actually president of the Scripture Union myself. But later on, I withdrew a bit and stood aside. So all these years, I'm just standing aside and supporting Mama from the side. But some of our people who take interest in religion would know that by the time of Jesus, what is now Palestine, Israel, was under the Romans. The Romans were governing that part of the world at that time. That's why the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate, was the one who hanged Jesus, you remember. He was a Roman. Now the Romans stayed there in that area until 450 AD. Then Rome collapsed. When Rome collapsed, the whole of that area was engulfed by lawlessness, what they call the Dark Ages. In Europe, they call them the Dark Ages. Lawlessness, barbarism for almost 1,000 years. But in about 1400, new movement for learning came back. That's what they call the Renaissance. The Renaissance. So in that Renaissance, that's when Africa, when the Renaissance was taking place in Europe, that's when Africa started lagging behind. Because in all these changes in society, what we call a primer. A primer. A primer is, in a gun, these guns which we have, there is a bullet, and the bullet has got two powders. There's one powder called the propellant, the main one, in the bullet. Then there's a smaller chemical in the bottom of the bullet called detonator. So what happens is that a sharp metal called nidro like sindano, kama sindano ya kushona, like the nidro for sewing, hits the small powder in the bottom of the bullet, the detonator, and then the detonator detonates the main powder. Then that's how the bullet flies out. Now, the sharp metal which pricks the detonator is called a primer. Look for that word in the dictionary. Primer. The primer, the one which initiates the chain reaction. Now, the primer, according to the NRM, our study, which we normally put forward, but sometimes people don't get it. Our conclusion is that the primer of social change is advance in science and technology. The primer, the initiator of all social changes is advance in science and technology. You have heard how the invention of fire caused big changes in society. People were able to move from living in trees to dwelling in caves. Even the anatomy of people changed. Because when you are kumeketa is Uganda, okukota. Apio, what do you call eating food raw? Konywa apio. Eating raw food.
Chamadekanumu.
That's a sentence. You don't have a single word.
There's no single word, Your Excellency.
Oh, because she has given me cham eating something that it's a story. You don't have a single word.
No, Your Excellency.
Oh, so cham what?
Chamadekanumu.
Cham dekanumu. Apoyo. Huh? There's those who say there is a single word in law. Tie, look, one word, a chair. Pe. One behind there says there is. Come, the one behind you, come and tell us. Because in Uganda it is okumeketa, and in Runyankore it is okukota, emikoto. No, there's a microphone here. Why are you going so far away? Oh.
My name's Gloria Ruhabutiri Ocheng, and the word in Luo is muodo.
Is what?
Muodo.
Nuodo.
Yes.
Nuo.
Yes.
Nuo.
Muodo.
Nuodo.
Yes.
There's a word there. Nuodo meaning eating raw food.
Eating raw food.
Raw food.
Yes.
Pacho kwene. You.
I'm from
Uganda.
But married in Tororo.
Oh, you mastered the language so well.
Yes.
Okay, Gordama.
Yes, in Gordama.
Norgambaje. Very good.
Thank you so much, His Excellency. I think I'm here to confirm that the word is modo.
No.
I am Geoffrey Rubangakene from Gulu. So the word is modo. You can.
Is it M or N?
It is M.
No.
You can. In Luganda you say okumeketa.
Yes.
Okumeketa is like you can make it chinyewa.
Yes.
At the same time, you can also make it a umuogo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then you in Acholi you can also make it a guana.
Apoyo.
Yeah, apoyo.
Nuodo. Now, you can see that the invention of fire actually even caused change in human physiology. Because if you must kumeketa, if you must ngodo, you need very strong jaws. Very strong jaws to kumeketa. But when you eat cooked food, then the jaws eventually shrink. That's how our young, beautiful girls here can manage to eat food. Otherwise, they will not eat food because they have got smaller jaws. So, the primer of social change is the development of science and technology. And here, from page 10 in this booklet, which I hope they will give you, you will see how development in science and technology changed so many things. First of all, the invention of gunpowder by the Chinese. But the Chinese didn't use gunpowder for war. They used it for amusement, make firecrackers and so on. But the Europeans, when they got the technology before we had got it, they used it for war. And when gunpowder was brought here to confront our spears, the two could not compete. We who had lagged behind lost out because we had lagged behind in science and technology. Then in 1440, a German man called Gutenberg, that is after the Renaissance, invented a printing press. Because you see, here, in all those years, 4 million years, here we were progressing, but we were using muscle power, human muscle, or in some cases using animal power for cultivating with the hoe, carrying water from the well, cutting firewood, everything. Our daughters carrying children on their back, everything, carrying water on the head, everything manual. But in Europe, from 1440, this man Gutenberg invented the printing press, where you could print things automatically. Then, in 1698, before that, yes, an Englishman called Thomas Savery, in 1698, invented the steam engine for pumping water. Then, in 1812, another Englishman called Stephenson converted that steam power to pull a train, the railway. And from that time, the Europeans have been moving, inventing electricity, electronics, nuclear power, and the Africans who have been here still using the manual power, manual force to cultivate, to carry children on the back, find the children riding mothers as if they are horses. Everything manual. So therefore, the line of the NRM has been that you people, you better know how you have missed the bus of history. So therefore recently, not only recently, from the very beginning we told you, this is not new what I'm telling you, but the good thing is that I have had all these head teachers, because I hear you are the ones who, because we started patriotic clubs some years ago in schools, but we were using individual teachers who had been selected by I think ASSHU. This is the one which had selected some teachers. But when they went back to the school, they were clashing with you. You will get a patriotism teacher trying to teach, then the headmaster doesn't understand, then there was a tug of war. So recently, when there was this conference at Chankwanzi for the head teachers, it was very good. I thought it was a good approach. One of our young youth leaders thought about it. She said, instead of working without the head teachers, let's work with the head teachers. So therefore, my message here is that this just education, which is not telescopic, not seeing the whole journey of man, may not help us. That's how you have got all these problems in the world. And it's not only here in Africa, where we still have problems. There is, for instance, Latin America. Latin America is a very rich part of the world. They are very rich, they have got a lot of water. The Amazon, you teachers of geography, you know, the biggest river in the world in terms of water is the Amazon. It is in South America. The forests are in South America. Minerals, oil, everything is there. But they are still very poor. You see them trying to go to the United States walking on foot, running away from poverty to prosperity. So what has been the difference between the US and South America? It's not just the natural resources. It is the vision that made the difference. I don't have time to, when you read this, you will see what I'm talking about. So I just wanted to provoke you into looking at that angle, the angle of a holistic grasp of what Zing was calling transformative vision and therefore leadership. Because you cannot have transformative leadership without transformative vision. The vision must be there, and then you lead towards that vision. So I thought I should just mention this. I don't have time to go into the details. But the next time you have your conference, you should call me early and I come and give a dedicated talk on this issue. And give facts and illustrate. Because if you are all convinced, things will be much easier. Because the young people under you, I think they are now like 2.5 million in the secondary school. These are young adults, teenagers. They can easily learn. So if you share our vision, things will be much faster. So I congratulate you for having your seminar here, and I thank Ntare for looking after you. It seems Ntare has expanded, because when we were here, we were only 400. Because we used to be like 1A, 40, strictly 40. S1A, 40. S1B 40, that would be 80 times 4 classes. That was 80 times 4 is what? Is 320. 320, then we had S5 science, S5 arts. This would be like 20. We were not many. In S5, we were not 40 for sure. So that's another 40, then S6. 20, that's another 40. You would have like 400 people. So to the end, how do you manage to look after 4,000 people? You come and tell me. so that I'm proud of my school.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
You have increased the dormitories or what?
Thank you, Your Excellency. Well, the dormitories have not yet increased, but the enrollment is increased. We have 2,200 now.
The students?
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
But the magic is that Mutare is highly stratified. The administration, you have deputies, the stratification is so good so that each does what it's supposed to do. And then, of course, the coordination. And you remember, sir, even the student leadership, because the students take a lead. Every Sunday we have...
But how do you accommodate 4,000?
They are not yet 4,000. They are 2,000, but we are squeezed.
These visitors here.
Thank you so much. What we have rooms that are squeezed. The dormitories.
How did you accommodate the conference?
The teachers, the head teachers were sleeping out. They were not sleeping in the dormitories.
Oh.
They rented outside.
Oh, okay. They were just coming for a meeting.
They would come for a meeting. That's why, Your Excellency, we asked
you I was about to boast that you see. Now Triagen has dampened my spirits.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Because I was about to say, you see, our school, oh yeah. So
but Your Excellency, that oil is okay. Because when you look at how we have managed this with the administration, I think really you are okay.
This is a small oil, but not the other one.
Thank you.
Because I thought they were sleeping here, eating here. So where are you staying? How do you accommodate? The RDC Mbarara, how do you manage to accommodate such a big number? Where are our guests staying?
Your Excellency, Mbarara has developed as a city. We have many hotels, and everybody here was accommodated safely.
In somewhere in the hotels?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Apoyo Rubanga. Katonda yebaziwe. Thank you so much. It's now my pleasure to close the conference. Do I close it? Or do I postpone it? I now close the conference.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We welcome with both hands that invitation. Next time we organize, we shall invite you and give you more time so that you lecture to us. As we conclude, Your Excellency, I would like to introduce my co-MC. She is Madame Celia Amanya. She's the head teacher of Kibubura Girls in Uganda, and she's also the district patriotism coordinator for Uganda district. Myself, Your Excellency, I'm Sam Kuroba, Commissioner for Government Secondary Education, Minister of Education and Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, let us now, we are going to raise for the anthem, but before that,
I contribute 500 million to the resource center.
I think stand up and really thank His Excellency. Another 5 factorial. 1, 2, 3.
Mama is prompting me that I should also contribute to the circle, but I had some issue. There's one of my girls called Katavaro, who was a teacher here. She was the one heading that circle, but there were arguments between the circle and the other one of Tweheyo. What do you call that group of Tweheyo?
Unatu.
That one, they had arguments. So where is the circle? Can you tell me where it is? Circle tiye kwene. It is in Unatu.
Which ASSHU circle, Your Excellency. ASSHU.
The ASSHU circle, the one of the teachers.
Of the head teachers.
Of the head teachers.
Yes.
This one has no empaka.
No. It is very clean, Your Excellency.
Temuli nampaka. Okay, what temuli nampaka ntade mwebi kumbibiri. If you don't have quarrels, I put in 200 million in your circle. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. An announcement, ladies and gentlemen. His Excellency has accepted some 2 pictures, so I'll request the 13 chairpersons after the anthems, the PS, the Chairperson Education Service Commission, the 2 trustees. They will come forward and take these pictures of His Excellency. Let us now raise up for the anthems, starting with East African anthem. Yes, the outgoing and the incoming, they also come. So the outgoing and incoming have also been allowed. Let us start with the 13 chairpersons. Step forward. 13 chairpersons, PS, Chair Education Service, and the 2 trustees. Then the chairpersons, please come forward also. After this, we shall have the chairpersons.
Colleagues, as the photo is being organized, some quick announcements. One, lunch is ready. Let's take lunch. And our Finance Secretary, Dima, is working out the payment sheets for the money, and we shall request that we shall advise on how to go to different regions, and that's how the money from His Excellency the President shall be dispensed. We shall keep announcing what to do next. Thank you so much.